Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 1st of January. Happy New Year's, everybody, 2020, to talk about tonight's AEW Dynamite, the Homecoming Edition. Tonight was the Homecoming, where they returned to Jacksonville, Florida. Excuse me. So with that, tonight's show was actually a pretty good show. I expected more from it, from the way they hyped it up, but I'm not in any way saying that I was disappointed or didn't like the show or anything. I just, myself, expected a teeny tiny little bit more from the actual show. But overall, I thought it was a really good, solid show. The women's match was what we would have expected. The opening match was probably one of the better matches, if not the best match to open the show with. And then that crowd. They had their ups and they had their downs, but let's see what crowd is with us here tonight. Let's see who's with us in the live chat. We do have Dorian Abercrombie, Kristen McNutt, Sinclair Saturday, Blade Runner, Jason Dalton, Woken King Slender, Josh Vega, Tony Matrison. I hope I said that right. Tony Matrison. And so many more of you. What's this? Armin Johnson says AEW was fun. Glad TNA pick it up and it's here to stay. Oh yeah, it's here to stay for a while. They were talking to TNT about their weekly show airing before they even announced a year ago what AEW was. When Tony Khan first thought of, I want to start a wrestling company, he knew people at TNT and said, I want wrestling on TNT. I'm going to the TNT people. I'm getting my show on there. Not knowing exactly what the company was going to be. I think the talks actually with TNT started in October. And then once they announced that they had the Bucks, they had Jericho, they had Cody, and then eventually Omega, TNT goes, oh, okay, we see what you're doing. We got you. And now, 3 months, they've been on TNT. They've been around for a year. Sorta. Technically, next week is their anniversary show. But I don't count their real anniversary until May 25th or Double or Nothing weekend, because that's when they ran their first actual show. So with that, let's talk about this actual show that took place tonight. So this show was from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the little arena actually connected to the Jacksonville Jaguars football stadium. They ran here for Fight for the Fallen back in June, I want to say it was. And with that, I thought, the arena is cool. It looks better in the daytime, but it's still so different than what we see from any other wrestling product that running here once or twice a year is going to set them apart from others because it doesn't look like anything else. You go and you see a WWE show, they all look the exact same. The arenas are set up the same. The arenas are formatted the same. They're shot the same. They're lit the same. But with this place, this little, I guess you could say, venue, you can't set it up like a normal week for Dynamite. So you're going to get a show that looks different. And I like that. You don't need to do different all the time, but breaking it up and doing it once, twice, maybe even 3 times a year. Do once right here at the beginning of the year. Do another in summer or late spring. So maybe go Jacksonville in January, Jacksonville in April, and then Jacksonville again in maybe like September. Break it up. Do it 3 times a year. It's cool. It's a nice little venue. I just wish that it was light out and more daytime. I know they can't change that. But with it, the show opened up with a video package detailing the Elite's struggle of bad luck recently. They showed Hangman Page losing with Jericho winning the AEW title, then getting destroyed by Creepers, to Cody being betrayed by MJF. They said that starting tonight, the Elite is going to get their ways back. They're going to go back on a winning streak, and did they tonight. But it was weird because, so they aired that video package. JR introduced us to the show. Told us the first match is Cody and Darby, but here's what else we got. And he said all members of the Elite are looking to redeem themselves. They will all be in action tonight. And then I go, well, what about Hangman? You said in that package that Hangman's technically still the Elite. And I'm going to get to that later when JR asked Hangman about the Elite. Or the show opens up. We got a Darby Allin video package before his entrance. He was accompanied to the ring by a singer on stage. Taz identified him as Ghost, the singer from a Ghost Machine. I have no clue what that is. Nick will probably tell me later. I have never heard of Ghost Machine. Don't listen to that kind of music. There's no graphic identifying who he was or anything, so you had to be listening. Excalibur thanked Taz for explaining who the random dude was. So then the lights go out, and it's time for Cody to come out. Spotlight hits the top of the stage, and there is the enforcer, Arn Anderson. Cody's music hits. Out comes Cody. Cody gets a great pop from the crowd. And this is the one thing that gets a little annoying in AEW. Everybody's got to have like 60 freaking nicknames. So Justin Roberts literally said, making his way to the ring, accompanied by a founding member of the Four Horsemen, a Hall of Famer, the head coach of the Nightmare Family, and a true legend, Arn Anderson. And then he announces Cody. It's just like, everyone, they got 50 nicknames. So this match, again, was a rematch from earlier last year at the Fyter Fest show. The match had gone to a 60-minute draw. 30-minute draw, I think it was. And so Darby said that's always weighed on him. And tonight, he's getting his rematch. I think the two had a really good match. Perfect opener. Cody and Allin locked up early. Cody used a shoulder block for a quick 1 count, barely. They traded a series of cradles, each teasing their finisher, but both men blocked it. Cody dumped Allin over the top rope to the floor. Arn seemed to be doing a football coach gimmick where... So, what Arn did throughout this match was he was shouting instructions to Cody. Kind of like a football coach gimmick or a MMA corner man. More like a football coach gimmick, though, because he would do the thing where he was like, all right, I tell you an instruction, but I'm going to cover my mouth so they can't read what I'm saying. And so he had a stack of papers. I guess it's his coaching notes. They didn't really say other than he used those papers to cover his lips. So we'll see. We'll see. Allin at one point dropped Cody on the apron, and then he nailed a tope suicida. Cody got up, selling his knee or his left arm. Allin jumped off the ropes into a kick from Cody. Allin went right on the offense, continuing the attack on the left arm. Cody used a figure 4. Allin reached the bottom rope, and Cody had to break the hold. Allin hit a series of kicks to the left arm. Allin used a Fujiwara armbar, but Cody forced the break. Allin exposed a turnbuckle, teased sending Cody into it, and Cody shoved Allin off. Allin then landed on his feet on the ramp. Allin hit a springboard crossbody. Cody reversed into a cover and a 2 count. Cody then hit a Cody cutter, and I'd never heard that before. The Cody cutter? I put on Twitter, I said, how long has he been calling it the Cody cutter? Someone said about 3 weeks or so. I've seen Cody do it once or twice, but I've never heard him say the Cody cutter. It's basically Will Ospreay's move, the Oz cutter. He jumps, bounces off the ropes, comes back at you, and hits you with a stunner type move. His is more of a stunner type, and Ospreay's is more like a RKO type. But they're basically the same thing, and Cody's is called, it's just weird, Cody's is called the Cody cutter, where Ospreay's is called the Oz cutter. I don't know. So Cody hit the Cody cutter for a 2 at the 10-minute mark. They made sure to let us know that we have hit the 10-minute mark in this 20-minute match. The ropes might be slick as both guys seemed unsteady at times doing springboard moves. Cody hit an inverted superplex for a 2 count. So I tried to pay more attention during the commercials this time. I was actually watching on my television, so I was able to see the picture-in-picture stuff.
Smart remote. Command watching sent to your television.
Alexa, stop. Anyways, so I actually watched on my television tonight opposed to watching on the TNT app like I normally do. So I got the picture-in-picture. And I noticed during the break, Cody again used the figure 4. Allen forced a break. Cody hit a slam on the ramp, and then he tossed Allen back inside. After break, Cody teased a superplex. Allen turned it into a sunset bomb. They did a lengthy double down at the end of the break. Welcome King Slender? No. And I'm going to talk about that. Britt Baker did not make any valid points. Allen hit a stunner at one point. He teased the coffin drop. Cody rolled to the apron. Allen then hit the coffin drop on the apron, this time successfully, unlike in their first match. Cody may have gotten his knee racked a little bit here as he was really, focusing on that knee from this point. It was unclear from the replay, and the announcers were also not sure, did Cody really just tweak his knee there? And the way they were saying it was, we don't know if he's selling or actually hurt. So Cody tried another Cody cutter, but Allen blocked Cody and hit a crossroads. Cody then hit a crossroads. Allen broke out of 2. Cody then charged into the exposed buckle. Allen went for a coffin drop, and Arn jumped on the apron and started slapping his knee, yelling at Cody, "Get your knees up, get your knees up, get your knees up." Cody got his knees up. Darby Allin came crashing down on his back on the knees of Cody. Cody with a schoolboy and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So that's what Arn's going to be for Cody. Arn's going to be the eyes that Cody doesn't have at all times. So when Cody's down or something's happening that Cody can't see or realize, Arn's going to shout it to him and say, "Hey, this is what you need to do." He's going to be more of a coach than a manager. Because like with say Tully Blanchard and Sean Spears, he's just more of a manager. I'm out there. I've got your back if you need me. I'll do some talking. Actually, no. Tully hasn't done any talking on TV. Anyways, but Arn's role seems like he's more of the coach or the corner man. Like in an MMA fight, you'll be seeing a guy or a girl going through the motions in their round, and you hear their corner, he's lacking on the right. He's lacking on the right. Or he's going to throw this, or he's kicking the middle, So I think that's what Arn is going to be for Cody. He's going to be his extra eyes and give him tips and hints and clues and whatnot throughout the matches. It's whatever. I don't think Cody needs a manager. Usually managers are supposed to be for guys that need help talking, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. So again, I thought this was a great way to open up the show. I would have had Darby Allin go over, but for the story they were telling tonight, it was a redemption night for the Elite, so it makes sense. JR then threw to Jen Decker in the back. She interviewed SCU. SCU did a football-themed promo. They said the Young Bucks brought the great offense, but they beat them with their great defense. They also talked about the Dark Order, saying if the Dark Order wants to step to them, they should do it face-to-face and not just attacking them and others from behind. They said that 2020 is going to be another year of SCU and that this year is going to be just more dominance from them in the tag team division, and they don't see themselves ever losing the titles. Scorpio Sky even called the Dark Order spooky perverts before they were interrupted by Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara said, "Hey, it's cool. You guys, you got the tag belts. Dan Ortiz, they'll come for you eventually. But what do you have?" And looks at Daniels, other than your wrinkles. So the storyline with Christopher Daniels is he's too old. That he's lost it in the ring. That he doesn't have what he used to have. And Sammy Guevara said that. He's like, "You lost it in the ring." And Daniels took that as a challenge, and I guess maybe they're going to face off next week. But when they announced the matches for next week, that was not in, I guess to say, the lineup. Because they announced 1, 2, 3 matches for next week, but not a Christopher Daniels, Sammy Guevara match, even though they both literally said, let's fight next week. So next up, we got the AEW Women's World Championship, a fatal 4-way match. This match was a match. Nothing special. Better than I expected, but still sloppy and a little off at times. There's about how Nyla Rose is back from her suspension. All 4 women came down to the ring. They gave a little brief, oh, this woman's done this in the company so far. This woman's done this so far. This woman's ranked here. And early on, Rose grabbed Riho's title belt and knocked her to the floor before the bell even rang. At one point, Nyla Rose set a table up at ringside. She powerbombed Riho onto a Britt Baker. Tried to cover them both and only got a 2. When she covered Baker, she'd have broke up the cover. Rose then hit a guillotine knee drop from the top rope onto Hikaru Shida, who was positioned laying on the ropes. Rose put Shida on a table and then hit a senton through the table off the apron. Riho hit a double stomp from the top onto basically the butthole of Nyla Rose. It was so funny because the announcers were like, oh, was that the small of her back? Was that the... And no one wanted to say that it was her butt. And they all scooted around it and they were like, oh, double stomp to the... Was that the small of her back? The bottom of her spine? It was funny. You could tell they're like, she's got her butt, but we don't want to say butt on TV. So going forward, Baker hit a draping DDT on Nyla Rose. She then went for the lockjaw, and Taz goes, it's going to be hard to get her in that maneuver as she's thick. And Jim Ross, the one who usually has the offensive lines, goes, no, Taz, she's strong. It's her strength. Her strength is gonna keep her out of that hold. I'm like, oh, good cover up there, Jim. So Rose powered out of it. She powerbombed Baker and got a 2. Riho hit a double stomp on Rose for a near fall. Baker hit Riho with a swinging neck breaker for a 2 count. Hikaru Shida superplexed Baker. She did the Cesaro spot where your opponent's standing on the apron. You're up on like the middle rope. You just all your might up and over the top rope. Superplex. That fun Cesaro spot we always see. Shida then hit a backbreaker on Britt Baker. Barely got Britt Baker over her head. Like she's got her up in the fireman's position. Struggling a little. And when she went to throw Britt Baker up over her head and down into the backbreaker, she like went up. And I don't know if Britt Baker didn't want to go up or something, but she like halfway went up and then Hikaru Shida kind of fell down to one knee. She tucked her neck to get Britt Baker over and then she kind of hit her with the backbreaker. From here, Rose then hit a slam on Shida. Then she put Riho on top of Hikaru Shida. Because, I don't know. I guess she was looking to swanton both of them. And Riho goes, this ain't going to work. So Riho, as nonchalantly as she could, slid herself off of the top of Shida. It's like, what are you doing, Nyla? This ain't the spot. We're going to put ourselves where we're supposed to be. And eventually they just both moved anyways, and Nyla Rose crashed and burned with a swanton. Finally, from here, Riho hit a Meteora on Rose for 2. Shida hit a Falcon Arrow on Nyla Rose, very impressive, for a 2 count. Britt Baker then hit her with a super kick and went for the lockjaw, but Hikaru Shida reversed it into a cradle for a near fall. As Britt Baker kicked out, Riho jumped her and trapped her in a cradle for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Baker immediately kicked out at the 3, barely missing it. Well, I don't know if that was a mess up because it was close. Like the referee counts 1, 2, 3, and Britt's kicking out right there. But hey, it's what happens. It's what happens. After the match, Nyla Rose attacked Riho, put her through a table with a second rope splash, and left the champion laying, as next week Riho will be defending her championship against Chris Statlander in the Memphis area. The announcers threw it to the back where Alex Marvez was going to interview Joey Janela. He asked Joey a question. Audio didn't sound good here for some reason. And all of a sudden, Joey Janela's like, you know what? And he kind of like bends over. Camera pans down. You see Penelope Ford gave him a random ass low blow. And I mean, I guess they've kind of teased something with this before. So for those unaware, back in the day, well, not back in the day, earlier in the year, back in first half of 2019, Joey Janela and Penelope Ford dated in real life. Then they broke up, and now she's dating Kip Sabian. They've placed her and Kip Sabian together on Dynamite or in AEW, and so now it looks like they're going to be doing a Kip Sabian Joey Janela feud. But why? From what I heard, there was no like bad blood or anything. It wasn't a bad breakup. It wasn't like she was cheating on Joey with Sabian, for all I know. And even if that was the case, wouldn't Joey Janela be the one to want to attack them and not him I don't understand this. Hopefully, either on social media or next week on Dynamite, they explain why they want to go after Joey Janela. And also, I thought Joey Janela and Shawn Spears was still going on. I guess that's done after he dressed up as Santa and beat him. So then we got a Dark Order video package. Evil Uno was addressing an Exalted One, and said that the mission was done. They have decimated the Elite. The announcers did well to drive the point of the video package home. And so it appears Dark Order are serving a higher power. They got Jon Moxley versus Trent. The two traded headlock takeovers early. Moxley hit some chops. Trent did a double knees to get a 2 count. After a commercial break, Trent hit a tope to the outside. The two traded power bombs and near falls. Orange Cassidy jumped in the ring for a spot, leading to Trent hitting a knee strike and a spike pile driver for a 2. Moxley came back with a paradigm shift on the ramp, then hit a second one in the ring for the victory. Good, solid little match here. Trent got to look good. Moxley picked up that victory. And we're all off to the races. I felt, though, the match should have been shorter. If Moxley's supposed to be the scary dude that just whoops everybody's ass, then he shouldn't be going 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever this match was. He should be going 4 to 5 minutes with somebody like Trent. I get it. Trent's been on a roll recently. So, hey, let's keep him looking strong, even though he's going to lose. I thought it should have been shorter. So Sammy Guevara then comes down through the crowd. Guevara threw a pre-tape up of Chris Jericho. So my question is, where was Jericho? We assume he's not in Japan yet, or Moxley wouldn't have been able to be here. Because if Jericho had to be in Japan, Moxley should have had to be in Japan already. Moxley's match is the day before Jericho's match at Wrestle Kingdom. But I digress. Jericho couldn't be there live tonight, I guess. I mean, he was there at some point, because you can tell that this video package was filmed in front of the building where they were, in the parking lot there. So I don't know if they filmed something last night and then Jericho flew to Japan or what. Maybe it was done live. It seemed like a pre-tape the way it was all put together. Like, it was a better camera than they normally use. It was one of the, higher end cameras to get a better looking shot. So, because I got asked that, I said, someone messaged me on Twitter and was like, hey, I know Moxley and Jericho both have to be in Japan this weekend. Why wasn't Jericho there, but Moxley was? And I don't know. So, Jericho says that he knows Moxley could join either the Dark Order or the Nightmare Collective. There's plenty of groups he can be with. But he wants to make him an offer that nobody else can. He wants him to be a peer of his. He said, not only do I want you in the inner circle, I want you to lead the inner circle with me. I want to give you the position of executive vice president of the Inner Circle LLC. I'll give you 49% of the inner circle. Also, he offered Moxley a brand new Ford GT. He said one of the most expensive cars you can buy, which is true. And so we even got a nice vanity plate on it for you. It says Mox. And Jericho said, think about this. We've got things that nobody else can offer you. And so it cuts back to Moxley in the ring. He said, I've always considered Jericho a friend, maybe even a mentor. And because of the respect I have for him, I'm going to wait to give you my answer until I can see you next week in person. What a fucking WWE thing to do. To say, oh, Moxley will give his answer this week on TV. Will he or will he not join the Inner Circle? And then say, I'll tell you next week. That's such a fucking WWE to do, to drag shit out. Like, I don't know if last minute they realized Jericho wasn't going to be there, so they switched it all up. But that right there leads me to believe that Jericho really wasn't there. Again, he had to have been there recently. I know they did last night in Jacksonville at the stadium where they are tonight. They did a New Year's Eve party. They had a bunch of people from the roster there. So maybe they would film this then. But next week, Moxley will hopefully give us his answer. Hopefully it's not a WWE move again and they fucking push it off another week. Hey, Wrestling Gap, 49%. LOL. Well, yeah, Jericho ain't going to give up 100%. So during the commercial break, Sammy Guevara had these cue cards, big old cue cards. He was mocking the movie Love Actually. It was a spoof. And I guess he's trying to hook up with, what's her name? Victoria Justice's sister, Madison Grace. So he's like, hit me up, Victoria Justice's sister. Here's my Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up. Come on. Come on. So, Tony Masterson says Sammy is a YouTube star. That's it. No. Sammy Guevara was a wrestler before he started doing his vlogs on YouTube. Sammy Guevara's been wrestling for quite a while, actually. Longer than most people actually realize. But when, the Bucks started doing, he may have actually been doing his vlogs and YouTube stuff even before the Bucks and Omega. But either way, he's not just a YouTube star. He's a freaking great pro wrestler, as we saw in his match next with Dustin Rhodes. These two had a great match. Early on, Dustin hit a series of punches and a flip dive off the apron. Jake Hager would eventually come out. He stared down Rhodes, teased getting involved early. He did eventually. Guevara used the distraction to take over the offense. Guevara used a cradle for a near fall and hit some chops. Guevara missed a charge into the corner. Rhodes grabbed a chair and appeared to swing it, but the picture-in-picture kind of cut away, so I don't know exactly what happened there. After commercial break, Guevara hit a chin lock. Guevara missed with a double stomp off the top, and Dustin hit him with a snap power slam. Rhodes then hit some signature offense, including an inverted atomic drop and a punch to the throat. Rhodes hit a spine buster for a 2. Barely got that spine buster. They teased on commentary that, Arn Anderson, he's the coach of the Nightmare family. Maybe he's been coaching up Dustin, teaching him how to do that spine buster. Guevara then hit a standing shooting star press. It looked like he almost just smacked his forehead on Dustin's knee. Because as he does the shooting star press, Dustin's kind of got one of his legs up in the air. And Sammy kind of almost hits his head first to his knee. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Kicks out. Rhodes then hits a destroyer on the apron. He went for the cover, but Hager jumped up on the apron, caused a distraction. Rhodes sent Guevara to the floor, crashing into Hager. Rhodes then teased the old kick the family jewels in the corner spot, his shattered dreams that they now call the natural kick. But the referee jumped in last second and goes, no, I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you do it. Really? Why, would it be a DQ? Because it's not been a DQ before. Very weird, because we've seen him do it in WWE and in AEW, and the ref not stop him or call it a DQ or anything like that. So as the referee's helping Sammy get out of the corner, Hager jumps in, gives Dustin a low blow. Guevara then covers Dustin, and 1, 2, 3, there we go. Made the ref look dumb because just 4 seconds earlier, he was stopping Dustin from doing a move, and Dustin was standing upright, not even wobbly. But then all of a sudden you turn around 4 seconds later and Dustin's just out. Very interesting. Making these AEW refs look like big old dummies. Big old dummies still. So then JR threw to Jen Decker for another interview. She was interviewing Private Party at a bar. Hangman would then just walk up randomly, grab a glass, grab some whiskey, start pouring himself a drink. I guess he's turning heel. Audio wasn't that great here. They made it seem like it was, quote-unquote, their bar, Private Party. They're like, hey, what are you doing stealing our booze or our alcohol? That's ours. And then he left and he goes, you're going to pay for that? That's about $12 you owe us. So, plays into what we're getting next week, I guess. So out came MJF and Wardlow. They walked out on the ramp, and then we went to commercial. During the commercial, though, MJF gets off the ramp, doesn't go into the ring, walks over to this girl at ringside, literally just smooches her right on the lips. Some fan starts yelling at him, so he takes the fan's hat and literally throws it, just tucks it the other way. I don't know if the fan got his hat back or anything. Then, if you were watching on Fight TV, then you would have actually seen all this going on with audio because there's no commercial breaks on Fight TV, hence why they do the picture-in-picture, because action still takes place on Fight. And literally, MJF walks over, grabs a sign from a fan, folds it up, and throws it, and you hear a guy yell, Sean Ross Sapp is your daddy! I'm like, wow. Okay. So, MJF comes out and he says, Cody, I know you want a match with me, but the roles are reversed now. I have all the power. You need to do what I want. MJF said the only thing standing in their way of a match is a few tiny stipulations. Stipulation number 1, they can have the match, but the match ain't happening till Revolution. He said if Cody touches him at all before Revolution, no match. He said, also, to have a match with me, you're going to need to go through somebody. You're going to have to earn this match. You're going to have to take on somebody like Wardlow inside a solid steel cage. So it looks like we're getting the first ever AEW cage match. Stipulation 3. Cody has to get on all fours and let MJF whip him, not once, but 10 times live on TNT. MJF said the leather, the scars from the leather of his belt will remind Cody that MJF is better than him, and he knows it. Good promo, not one of the better MJF promos. MJF's been better before. He let the crowd get a little bit too much to him because he was kind of trying to overreact to the crowd at times, and it took him out of his promo once or twice. So in the back, Jen Decker was interviewing Jungle Express. Audio was just wretched here. I guess they were playing some music inside the arena, and then it played over this, and Jungle Boy basically said, hey, I ended the year okay. I lasted 10 minutes with the champ. He said, hopefully in 2020, we can go out there and pick up some victories and have a good year. Luchasaurus went to say something. Like I said, music started playing. I couldn't hear him. And Jungle Boy, or Marco, was there doing the little kid, I'm going to grab at things gimmick. I don't know. He said this year will be big for them, not just as a team, but also as individuals. Alex Marvez then interviewed Riho backstage. Britt Baker interrupted, verbally assaulted her, said that I'm here every single week, wrestling, trying to earn a shot. I should be the champion, not you, because you're never here. You're always taking time off, blah, 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 and then you stole my win tonight. She goes, I have my dental practice, but I still show up here to fight every week. And I'm like, okay, you're making a valid point. Riho should be on the show more if she's the champion. But when fucking Britt Baker said, you stole my win. No, Riho didn't. Because your ass is the one that got pinned. It wasn't like Britt Baker hit some big move on like Hikaru Shida, tossed Britt out of the ring, and then pinned somebody else. No. Britt got caught, kicked out, or actually, Britt got reversed, kicked out, and then got caught. Britt got, and now she's mad that she got. I hope this is not a heel turn, because we have enough heel females in AEW to where it's like, actually, we have enough females, we don't know where they're supposed to be, heel or babyface. And so, I don't know. I didn't like it, because it's like, you're mad because you got pinned. I get that part. But saying that she stole your win, she didn't. Stealing your win is you like giving somebody, I don't even know what a big move for her would be because she's got that submission. But say she powerbombed Hikaru Shida through a table or something, and then was going to go for the pin, but Riho threw her out of the ring and took the pin instead. That's stealing the victory. That's stealing my win. Not cradling you. You got beat. You didn't get... Anyways, beating a dead horse there. The verbiage was all wrong, and it made Britt Baker look like a stupid, whiny son of a bitch. Just saying. So then, Michael Nakazawa translated for Riho, and Riho was just like all smiles and it's like, oh, okay. Cool. So Hangman then joined commentary for the final match of the night, had a drink in hand. Looks like he went back to their bar because his drink was twice as full. A graphic noted that he's been drinking all day. They then stated that next week, Hangman and Kenny Omega will be taking on Private Party. We also learned that the AEW Women's Championship will be on the line when Riho defends against Chris Statlander. Dusty and Cody will team up to take on the Lucha Bros. And Jon Moxley will give Jericho his answer for for joining the Inner Circle. And also, there's going to be a tribute next week to Memphis Wrestling. What is that? I don't know. They said there's going to be Memphis Wrestling legends on hand, and they're going to do a tribute to Memphis Wrestling. Why? Who fucking knows? It's not needed. It's something cool. They like to say that they appreciate the past, but it's just a segment that probably the fans there are not going to care about, and it's going to die with the live crowd probably. I mean, maybe not, since the live crowd at an AEW show is usually forgiving when there's bad stuff, but we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't, I don't know. We don't know exactly what the segment's going to be, so it's hard to say that it's going to be good or bad. One would assume it's not going to be great television. I mean, what is it going to be? Like the Rock and Roll Express? Some legend's going to get beat up? It's the only thing you can think of, because that's what they've done before. So finally, Wrestling Gab, yes, Jerry Lawler's from Memphis, but he ain't going to be on no AEW show. He's got like a 3-year contract with WWE right now. So Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks took on Pac and the Lucha Bros. Omega and Pentagon started the match. Omega slapped Pentagon with his own glove. They traded chops. At one point, Jim Ross asked Hangman on commentary, so have you distanced yourself from the Elite? And he said, well, I tried to, but I guess I haven't because they're making me team with Kenny next week. And I'm like, okay, interesting. It's like a storyline that we're supposed to be getting that they're like, fuck it, we don't want to give it to you because these two are getting over as a tag team. Because he said that. He's like, in the matches that we've had, me and Kenny as a team, we have just as good, if not a better record than Private Party. So Pentagon and Omega traded chops. Omega then hit a double dropkick and a double Kotaro Crusher on both him and Phoenix. Phoenix and Nick tagged in and traded shoulder tackles. They had a hot sequence, trading arm drags and drop kicks. Phoenix hit a rolling drop kick. They traded clotheslines and high kicks. The story behind this was the story that was being told that these two know each other's playbook really good because they've had so many matches against each other this year. During the break, the Bucks and Omega worked over Phoenix. Phoenix managed to tag to Pentagon, who hit a destroyer on Omega right before they returned from commercial. Pac then hit a space-flying Tiger Drop. Lucha Bros and Pac worked over Omega. Omega made a hot tag to Nick, and Nick was absolutely on fire. Nick hit a pop-up destroyer. Then the Bucks hit stereo destroyers on both Lucha Bros. Omega and Pac tagged in and traded strikes, hard strikes actually. Pac hit a snap German. Omega hit a V-trigger to the back of the head, then a snap dragon. Omega hit a powerbomb. Phoenix broke up the pin attempt. Then later on in the match, Pac used a brutalizer. Matt broke up the pin. Phoenix tagged in and tried a springboard kick, but Omega kicked him out of the air, then hit the one-winged angel for the victory. Great main event match. I thought the match was paced well. Everything worked well. All the guys, all 6 of them worked well together. Cody then came down to celebrate with the rest of the Elite. They were then trying to get Hangman to come down to the ring with them. They were, hey, come on. Even Jim Ross on commentary goes, hey, they're calling you to go celebrate with them. Are you going to go? And Hangman's like, no, I don't need it. And he declined their invitation to join him in the ring. So they're doing a storyline where Hangman Page doesn't want to be in the Elite, but they're forcing him to be part of the Elite, is what it seems like, with the line of, I'm trying to distance myself, but they're making me still team with Kenny. So I don't know where this is playing out or where this is going to lead to. I mean, eventually it may lead to them or him joining the Inner Circle, or not the Inner Circle, Dark Order. Maybe he's actually their overlord, their higher power all along. Do have a couple of text messages here to read before we do wrap things up. Before we do read those, I do want to tell you guys something very special. Well, today's January 1st, and we told you guys that on January 1st, we'd have something for you guys if you are Patreon or member subscribers. As a Patreon or a member subscriber, today, the first season of AEW Rank It actually dropped here on YouTube. With Season 1 of PWUnlimited Rank It, we watch and rank the TLC trilogy, the ladder match from WrestleMania 2000, the TLC match from SummerSlam 2000, and the TLC match from WrestleMania 17. Now here's the thing. You can watch all 3 episodes now if, like I said, you are a YouTube member or Patreon subscriber. Episode 1 will drop this Friday for everybody else. And here's the kicker. If you're only watching as a normal YouTube subscriber, not a member, you will only get the review and our rankings. But if you want the watch-along portion as well, where me and Nick do our live commentary of the 3 matches, then you can only get that if you have the early access version, either as a YouTube member or a Patreon subscriber. So again, we really had fun doing this series, doing this season. We have a plan for Season 2, which should come either February or March. I'm not sure if it's going to be weekly. I'm not sure if this is going to be monthly or bi-monthly yet. Probably monthly. But again, Season 1 is up right now, ready for everybody to binge. If you're a YouTube member, which to be a YouTube member, all you got to do is go down there and hit subscribe. Or hit join. Or head over to patreon.com/PWUnlimited and sign up there on the bronze tier level. That way you can get Season 1 early and without any ads. So with that, got a couple text messages here. This person here states, I'm going to be there next week. Can't wait. End of the show was awesome. So I guess you're saying you're going to be at Dynamite next week? Awesome. This person says, did you like the way the new venue looked for AEW? Well, it's not a new venue. They ran Fight for the Fallen here, and I get my whole spiel on how I like the venue at the beginning of the show. So if you missed anything, if you missed my whole spiel about how I like this venue, you can watch back later right here on YouTube or on podcast services all around the world. And with that, well, got a couple more text messages coming in as we start to wrap things up. This person says, is AEW using Kenny Omega the way fans were worried WWE would use Kenny Omega? No. Because the storyline, well, here's the thing. What was fans worried about WWE doing with him? Jobbing him out? No. And the storyline for Omega was, I kept getting beat, but now I'm hitting a roll. Because I think Omega goes on a roll, and in May, when they go double or nothing, I think he gets a title shot. And finally, this person here says, do you think Moxley will and should beat Jericho for the title at Revolution? Should he paradigm shift Chris and a match get announced for Revolution in February? Your thoughts? Yes. So I think next week, they do the whole thing where Jon Moxley makes Jericho think that he's going to join the Inner Circle. He says all the right things. Jericho gets all pumped. Jericho gets happy. Jericho gets excited. And then Moxley flips him off or something, hits him with the paradigm shift and goes, I don't want to join your group. I want to take your title. And then they announce that at Revolution, we'll be getting these two for the title. That's what I think they should do. But with that, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me here live. Talk about AEW Dynamite, the Homecoming edition. Next week will be their quote-unquote anniversary edition. But again, thank you for joining me here live. Thank you for watching later right here on YouTube or listening on podcast services all around the world. I will be live again this Friday talking Friday Night SmackDown, and then probably, I think, on the same night, I will be live again following Wrestle Kingdom. We'll be doing live podcasts for both Wrestle Kingdom nights, night 1 and night 2. Just so you know, we will be live following both of those shows. Saturday, or the January 4th show is going to be a normal late New Japan show, but I do know that the January 5th show is actually starting earlier than a normal New Japan show does, so that should be cool. I think more of you would be able to join me for the 5th than the 4th, but again, if you can't join me live because it's too late for either of those, then hey, you can always watch back later or listen on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, and so many more other podcast services. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you again live Friday night after SmackDown.